Chapter 4. I discovered that I can now understand all the languages humans speak. This is how I figured it out. I was in downtown Bethlehem, in the square outside the church that now stands on the spot where Jesus was born. There were a lot of tourists eating lunch and dropping bits of food. Someone left a half burger on their plate while they had their picture taken. Plenty of time for me to help myself. I wandered among the legs of all the people in the cafes and eating ice cream in Manger Square. Many were in organized tour groups, with guides carrying the flag of France or Japan or India. There were women in saris, men in multicolored African shirts, and women with black kerchiefs around their heads. There were Muslim women in head coverings and Greek holy men in long black robes. It was pretty clear that people were there from all over the world. I heard all of their conversations, and I wondered why everyone was speaking English. Then I realized that they weren't, but that I could understand them anyway. At first it was pretty cool, and I wandered around listening to people talk and feeling pretty pleased with myself that I could understand everything. I could eavesdrop on everybody. Then it dawned on me that a lot of what I was hearing was really boring. Where's the bathroom? Did you see what they charge for a Coke? Is this really where Jesus was born, or are they just guessing? If this is how you're going to behave, next time we'll leave you at home and your Aunt Alice can watch you. There's only so much junk food we can pack in the carry-on, and I'm not paying extra for shipping. So get that in your head right now. Many beautiful Holy Land souvenirs right this way. Are there toilets over there? I understand the animals too, just as clearly as if they were speaking English. They're not any more interesting. They're mostly talking about food and stupid things humans are doing. Dogs on leashes talk about wanting to run away. Cats think they're better than everybody, so they make fun of everything, except the birds. The birds make fun of the cats, if they are fast enough. Not a single one of them, human or animal, has ever even bothered to ask me how I'm doing, or if they can do anything to help me. All selfish. All of them. Anyway, I figured it out, with no help from anyone, that there are only two languages, human and animal. The difference between the two is that animals can't lie, or don't. Really, they have no reason to lie. Humans wouldn't hear them, and other animals wouldn't believe it, which is too bad for me, because lying is the thing that I was best at when I was a girl. So when the two soldiers talked in Hebrew, I could understand them, and when the people out in the street spoke Arabic, I could understand them too. I can only make cat noises, though. In my head, I'm saying words, but it comes out of my mouth as meows. Daylight was beginning to replace the darkness. Aaron spoke occasional updates of all quiet into his little voice recorder. The soldiers went through their duffel bags and spread their things out as they settled into the house. I watched them closely. I like things. I did when I was a girl, and I still do now that I'm a cat. I was a thief when I was a kid. I kept a shoebox in the back of my closet of little things I stole, an eraser from one classmate, a ruler from another, a red marking pen from the teacher's desk, my sister's favorite little pony, a brooch from my mother's jewelry box, a Pittsburgh Penguins hockey puck my father kept on his desk in the den. Later, I took things of more value, like a watch out of someone's gym bag in the school change room, a set of pastels from the art class, and any money I could get my hands on. I spent the money, of course, but I kept the things. I liked to look through my treasure box in the middle of the night when I couldn't sleep. I thought about people looking for their things and not being able to find them because I had them, and it made me feel powerful. I guess someone probably went through my closet after I died and found that box. My family should have kept my room the way it was and turned it into some sort of shrine of me. But my mother was way too practical. She probably moved Polly in there and turned Polly's room into a study for herself so she could work at home without having to share space with my father. I hope it was Polly who found my box of things. I wasn't very nice to her, but she would never rat on me, not even if I was dead. All this is making me sound like I was a really bad person, but I wasn't. There were a ton of things I could have stolen, but I didn't, and I wasn't always mean to Polly. Sometimes we would listen outside the door of my father's study while he helped a client write a will, and we would hear who would get what. That was fun. And I was nice to her then. One time we listened in on the parents of one of the boys in my class. They were asking my dad about dividing their estate. Our daughter is a star, but we don't think our boy will amount to much, they said. Do we have to leave them the same amount? I never told that boy what I heard. I could have, but I didn't, because I knew it would hurt him. So it wasn't all bad. I think I was pretty normal, actually. When the two soldiers opened their bags and started sorting through their stuff, I decided to go down to the floor for a closer look, to see if there was anything I might want. I got right inside one of the bags and shoved things around with my nose, looking for something I liked. It was a little bit like shopping. "Hey, Kitty. Look, Kitty's in the duffel bag." I let the soldier called Aaron run his fingers through the fur on the back of my neck for a moment. I even decided to purr. "She likes me," Aaron said. "Who's a pretty cat?" "That is the ugliest cat I've ever seen," Simcha said. "This land is full of ugly cats." "Don't pay attention to him, Miss Kitty," Aaron said in a baby talk voice. "I think you're the prettiest kitty. Really, you are. My mother would feed you up and have you looking sleek and fine in no time." I heard footsteps outside. The two soldiers jumped to their posts, one on the telescope and one at his rifle. The town was awake. Chapter 5. I smelled sage. I could tell from the rhythm of the footfalls that the passerby was an old woman heading down to the market with herbs to sell for making tea. The soldiers kept their guard up. Aaron quietly recorded everything he saw in the streets, all the comings and goings of young moms and old men. They also kept their backs to me, so I took the opportunity to keep shopping in their duffel bags. I poked around their belongings, looking for something small enough to carry away. Among the socks and ready-to-eat meals, I spied a packet of gummy bears. I almost took them. They reminded me of my old life. They were wedged under an ammunition clip, and I couldn't get them out. I decided to take a small pack of batteries. I dragged it under the sofa and lay on top of it. Mine. There. I felt better. There are little stashes of things I've stolen all over this area, on both sides of the big wall. I wish I could keep it all with me. A package of batteries is not very comfortable to lie on, so I left it and went back out to sniff around some more. I wandered away from the duffel bags and over to the pile of trash called the City of Dreams. It was trash. Boxes, bottles, and tin cans spread out all over the entire end of the room. Unfortunately, at first sniff, it seemed like it was all spotlessly clean, without a speck of food in any of it. The boxes had been cut and resembled to look like houses, churches, schools, things like that. There were bridges made from toilet rolls, and a castle with a drawbridge. Stop signs were made out of sucker sticks and red bottle caps. Toy cars and little army men dotted the streets along with tiny crotcheted dogs, birds, and mice. There was even a park with trees and benches. Someone had worked hard on it. If it was a project for school, some kid was bound to get an A. I kept sniffing. I could smell the boy. He was hiding in the middle of the cardboard city. He was sweaty and scared and hadn't washed in a while. He had wet himself, too. All smells were making it very hard for me to tell if there was any food around. He was having trouble breathing. I could hear it because I have fantastic hearing now. The soldiers couldn't hear it because they were paying attention to the street. They kept up a whispered conversation. "I'll bet you there's a terrace in that house with the ivy growing up the side," said Simcha. "That's not ivy, it's sweet pea, or honeysuckle," Aaron said. "Honeysuckle? Why would Terrace be growing honeysuckle?" "You think Terrace would be more likely to grow ivy than honeysuckle? That makes no sense." Their argument was completely pointless, and I tuned them out as much as I could. I settled down near the head part of the buried body. I looked closely at the area and saw how he had managed to hide. The City of Dreams was built over a trap door. The soldiers couldn't see it because there wasn't much light in the house, but I could. Most of the toy houses were loose on the floor. Some had been glued down over the trap door to disguise it. All the banging on the door the soldiers did when they were trying to get into the house must have alerted the boy and given him time to hide. I noticed two things then, almost at the same time. One was an inhaler, the kind people with asthma use. It had rolled under a low table and was in a shadow next to the table leg. The other was that the boy's breathing had gotten much worse. Whatever oxygen was in the little hiding place, he was using it up fast. His noises reminded me of Colin, the kid with asthma who got locked in the art supply cupboard in the 2nd grade. I already said that it was none of my business if the boy wanted to hide, and I believed that. But when I heard him breathing like little Colin, I decided I should do something. It took me a while to figure out what, because I'm not used to doing things for other people. While I was thinking, the boy's breathing got worse and worse, until finally I just started to howl. I meowed and screeched and dug furiously at the trapdoor with my paws, scattering the loose cardboard building and making a great big fuss. The soldiers finally shut up and tried to get me to be quiet. They threw things at me, socks, the packet of gummy bears, but I stayed where I was and kept doing what I was doing. Finally, one of the soldiers came over. That's when he heard the boy's labored breathing and wheezing. "Someone's here!" The two of them found the hidden door, yanked it open, and lifted the boy out of his hiding place. They dropped him face down in the City of Dreams. One soldier pulled his hands behind his back, and the other pointed a rifle at his head.